So what did you miss at Jubilee today? Well, you missed the beginning. The beginning of everything. You missed the beginning of the Hebrew Scriptures. The first chapter of Genesis, the creation of everything. You missed the beginning of John's Gospel. The Word became flesh. You missed Anne on her last Sunday before her maternity leave, telling us the story of creation, telling it in a way that's in tune with godly play, with wonderful images, and took us through the days of creation and invited us to wonder about the gifts we've received in life and the gift that is creation, and what our favorite days are, and what days in creation we find ourselves, whether it's the light and the dark, or the water, or the things moving across the land, or in fact the seventh day, the day of rest. It was a wonderful invitation. We also heard from our new friend Jason, who's here for the next 8 months as an intern. He read the gospel, and together we shared in communion as we brought people to the table. That's how we like to begin a season. And today sort of felt like the beginning of a season. Some folks who have been around a while, we're back. We say goodbye to Anne and hello to Jason, and we wondered together about something out of nothing. Very often when we hear the creation story, we hear that God created all of this out of nothing. It's a very Greek idea, creatio ex nihilo, Latin words for Greek idea, and very popular with philosophers, and it affirms for us that God is older, bigger, greater than all things, because all things came into being because of and through God, because God created out of nothing. The challenge is that the Scripture doesn't actually say that. When we read Genesis, what we hear is that earth was a formless void. And you might say that's the same as nothing, but it's not, I don't think. So we wondered about that. We wondered about the times that we ourselves have been in formless voids. Those of us who have grieved, those of us who have waited in a hospital waiting room, wondering whether the news will be good or bad. Those of us who have wondered whether we'd have enough money to survive, who have been bankrupt or afraid or been in threat or in war. These things are all like a formless void. It builds up in our stomach. It fills our chest. It chokes us. It ain't nothing. It's formless, and it leaves us feeling empty. It's a formless void. And I suspect that what the author of Genesis was saying is that into that God comes and brings presence, assures us we're not alone. Into that chaos, God brings order. And as Christians, we say that order became flesh and dwelt among us. God comes into our lives, our messy, difficult, sometimes formless lives, and brings order, love, presence, hope, shape and form, a path to follow. We carried those thoughts to the communion table and wondered if we're not also being invited to recognize that we can find hope, we can find shape, we can find direction in that void when we dare to share our brokenness as Jesus did at the table. When we acknowledge that love is profoundly, profoundly evident in our brokenness. That a life poured out for others is a life well lived. We wondered about that today. And we recognize that not many of us know anything about nothing, but we all know something about something. And that God creates through us, with us, into that something. Yeah, that's what we did at Jubilee today, and I invite you to think about that too, to think about those things in your life that are formless voids, chaotic, difficult, and recognize that what Genesis says, what the beginning of John's Gospel says, is that God can come into that and offer shape and form and direction and hope. Imagine. And with any luck, we'll get to see you soon. But until we do, God bless you, and know that we miss you.